Hi there, and welcome to this Pick a Card tarot reading. Since we're recording this in Virgo season, you might notice some Virgo related themes. But do keep in mind that these readings are meant to be timeless, and what matters more is when this video shows up in your reality. Take that as a sign that you're now ready to hear the messages in this video. Keep in mind that these are general readings for the collective, so only take the messages that resonate and leave the ones that don't. And with that said, let's get grounded and centered and connect to our intuition before choosing your group. I'm going to ring my sing bowl 3 times, and with each ring, take a deep breath in and a complete exhale out. Take this time to soften the body and arrive in your seat in this moment. Create space between the eyebrows. Soften your gaze. Relax the jaw. And lower the shoulders. Bring all of your awareness to your heart center. Connect to your intuition from here. Remember to listen to feeling and your emotions as you go into your reading today. And now, when you're ready, you can open your eyes and look at the 3 groups before you. For group 1, we have, I always call this crystal smoky quartz, but I don't think it is. I think it might be citrine. So we have citrine for group 1. We have pineapple calcite for group 2. And we have Labradorite for group 3. Notice which crystal stands out to you. Notice which deck stands out to you. Maybe a certain illustration pops. Maybe a certain color pops. Which one is calling out to you? Which one do you feel drawn to? Is it group 1, group 2, or group 3? You don't have to think too hard. Sometimes when we soften, the answer becomes obvious. When you've chosen your group, you can go down to the timestamps below and click on your reading, and I'll see you over there. If you chose group 1, Citrine, then this reading is for you. Alright, group 1. So I want to try something new today. I want to pick some keywords from this oracle deck. Sorry, I always forget the name of this deck. Let me find it for you. Right, so this is the Marcel's oracle. So let's pick a couple of keywords for you, group 1. Group 1, Citrine. Group 1. So you have lovers, hoarding, and freedom. So this might become relevant later as we dive deeper into your reading. At the moment, what's really standing out to me is the hoarding card, because that was kind of what I picked up on looking into this crystal and trying to get your energy. What I'm sensing is that there's some heaviness due to what you've been holding on to, not willing to let go, or not having been able to let go of. So there's a sense of burden, heaviness, or murkiness in the water that's preventing clarity of some sort. So let's look into your current energies, group 1. Group 1, Citrine. So you have the reverse Fool, you have the Two of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. So it looks like there is a new beginning, an offer being given to you, another path, a new direction to move into. But there is resistance to stepping onto this path. You have the Two of Wands, so a part of you is also redefining what it is you're looking for, getting clarity on what you want, and so you're also in the mindset of that. Okay. Alright, so why don't we start with the Fool? The Fool is a card of new beginnings, and also of recognizing that we don't need to get the whole picture before taking that first step. Sometimes we don't know what we're doing or what we're getting ourselves into, and that's okay. Sometimes we just have to put ourselves out there and be willing to risk failure, to risk making mistakes, in an effort to just experience new things. And so this card is telling me that, because it's in reverse, it's telling me that there's a part of you that's afraid of putting yourself out there and taking this new step in a new direction. Maybe you're afraid of making mistakes, failing in this new direction, or maybe you're afraid that this new path will not have what you're looking for, that if you let go of what you have, you'll never be able to find it again. Since we got the Lovers with the Oracle deck, this could be letting go of a past lover and being afraid that you'll never be able to find love again. If I let go of this person who's shown me that I'm loved, will I ever find another person who can show me that, who can love me in the same way? So there's a resistance of letting go of the past in order to welcome a fresh new start, an offer from the universe a direction that could prove to be more fruitful. This, I always say, is like a portal. The Ace of Pentacles feels like a portal. It's when the universe invites us to step through onto a new trajectory, a different energetic field where we can experience more abundance, more resources, more material stability in the form of money, coins, or in the form of relationships, a more stable, secure relationship, or in the form of just things of the material world, having objects, tangible things, a house, a roof over your head, that sort of thing. So the universe is offering you something, and you're resisting it because perhaps you're not seeing this with clarity just yet due to what it is that you're hoarding and holding on to. You have the Two of Wands as well in your current energy. So this is nice to see because part of you is putting in effort to have more clarity, to figure out what you like, what you don't like, to be more selective, and to place your attention on what's possible and to sift through the possibilities to, really indicate to yourself what's lighting you up right now, what you're wanting to go after. So there's a part of you that's also looking out onto the horizons and trying to find answers. So maybe there's a bit of conflict between a part of you that's holding on to the past and another part of you that knows that there might be better things out there. Now, So a card just flipped out and it's the Chariot. I feel like you might be able to get some reassurance here, and it pairs really nicely with the reverse Fool. So what I'm getting is perhaps what's making you resistant to stepping out on this new path that the Fool is presenting is you don't really want to be a fool anymore when it comes to experiencing newness. You want to be able to minimize risk and to be more mature about the whole process. You're kind of over the naivete and the innocence that goes with the Fool. You're like, I think there's a better way to do this, and perhaps that's why you're resisting the Fool energy and why you've been in the Two of Wands for a while. So maybe the reassurance or the answer you're looking for comes through the Chariot, because like the Fool, the Chariot is also moving towards something new. And the Chariot is moving really fast. And both of them acknowledge that they don't really know fully what's going on. They acknowledge that there is always risk, mistakes are possible, failure is possible, but failure isn't really a thing. It's just it's a lesson, right? So the Chariot acknowledges the risks about stepping forward and what might go wrong. But I think a difference between the Fool and the Chariot is the Chariot carries a certain determination and focus that ensures that they will hold steady to the reins and make sure that the horses are in place. And they know that they don't have complete control over the horses or the road that they're on or the chariot per se, but they will try their best through focus and determination. And that's what will eventually grant them victory. So that could be the difference that you're kind of seeking. Because with the Fool is clueless. And he's just, happy-go-lucky. And sometimes we don't want that. Sometimes that doesn't really serve us. So maybe what you've been resisting is this naivete, and you want to have more clarity. You want to know what you're going after and how to go about it. So that explains the Two of Wands energy. So perhaps what you're needing right now is focus and determination, and this chariot-like maturity where you can acknowledge the risks and at the same time go after what you want with complete focus. And again, I guess I shouldn't have used the word failure, because there's no such thing as failure as long as you continue on your path, right? You might take a misstep, but the moment you realize you've taken that misaligned step, you can get back into alignment and continue on your path. So there's really no such thing as failure. I think someone needed to hear that. All right, now let's go into advice. What else do you need to hear? Group 1, Citrine. This reminds me of a reading that I did a couple weeks ago. So chances are you may have clicked on that reading if you saw that video. You have the Moon, the Seven of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. Let's start with the Moon. So this is like what I just said earlier about failure, how it's kind of an illusion. You can't really fail as long as you keep going on your path. And so the Moon represents illusions, limiting beliefs, things that we don't yet see with clarity, and so we're making stuff up, false narratives. It's like, when it's really dark outside at night, and then you see a rope in front of you, you can easily mistake that as a snake and freak yourself out until the sun shines, and then you realize, oh, you've been scared of a rope this entire time. So it's that kind of energy where sometimes we can really fall into false narratives and believe them wholeheartedly to the point where we fail to take action, we fail to be authentic and follow through with our words and thoughts and actions. So the Moon is trying to remind you here that some of the things you currently believe may be false. Some of the narratives that you have about yourself, your situation, and other people could be false. Maybe you just don't have the full perspective right now. You don't have all sides of the story. So don't hold too strongly onto these illusions currently in your mind, because they might actually hold you back from your desired experiences and outcomes. And wait for the sun to shine, right? Don't jump to conclusions just yet. Wait for the sun to shine so that you can see your situation a little bit more clearly. It's like this card that we got at the beginning, where you think you're trapped, you think you're this bird in the cage and there's no way out, but actually the door is open, right? So wait until you find this door. You're currently not seeing it, but you'll see it eventually. The sun will eventually shine. So don't give in to your illusions too quickly just yet. And also with the Seven of Swords, don't try to go for the easy way out, because there really is no easy way out. The Seven of Swords energy is about trying to manipulate people or a situation into getting what you want more quickly, more easily. It's a trickster energy, and it's believing that you can outsmart the universe, which nobody really can. So the advice with this card is take it easy. don't go scheming just yet in how to get what you want in the quickest, fastest way. Don't try to manifest from resistance from your mind, Manifestation is really about manifesting who you are. With the energy you hold, the thoughts you have, the emotions you have, manifest, right? So as long as you are authentic and aligned to who you really are, what you want will show up around you because your thoughts, emotions, actions will naturally take you there. And so don't go scheming because that will just take you out of alignment. There's nothing to manipulate or try to figure out. What you really need is to just open yourself up. The Queen of Cups is this really vulnerable, emotional figure. It's so beautiful coming from her because no one really does this. And so when you're this person who is overly vulnerable and compassionate as a result, it really shows and it's so beautiful. And so the advice here is you really don't have to think your way out of your situation to get what you want. That's not necessary here. What if you just allow yourself to soften, to melt, to be more raw, to open your heart? No, that sounds cheesy, but it is an opening of your heart chakra, your heart center, an opening of your heart chakra in the sense that you have to grieve the pain that you felt in the past to access more love, because currently that's blocking you from feeling how much love is there for yourself and for other people and for life. And also opening your heart center in the sense that here lies stillness, peace, and calm, and oneness, non-duality, right? It's in the heart bindu, the center dantian. If you can access that point within you, things will just feel so much more simple and straightforward. You'll have the clarity you're looking for. And so the Queen of Cups is advising you to go to your heart center, to access that stillness, and to also grieve, process the emotions that are stuck in your chest, the emotions that we often call sadness, pain, loneliness, heartbreak, right? Or angst, anger, frustration. We can all feel that in the chest. So process that so that you have more access to the love that's so readily available for you. And that will also allow you to just be you and to align to your designated path, right? And that way, as you charge forward in a new direction on this path, you'll minimize the risks, you'll have more focus and clarity, and kind of know what it is that you're looking for. All right, now let's pull some cards for outcome. All right, so for the tarot deck, we have 10 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles, and 6 of Wands. So let's start with 6 of Wands because this is very straightforward. It's essentially telling you that you will have your victory, you will have your success. You'll feel like this lady, the lights shining upon you, celebrating your victory, being incredibly proud of how far you made it. So that's always a nice confirmation card. And we also have the 10 of Wands. So this is telling me that you're going to be releasing a lot of burdens, releasing that heavy sense of responsibility that can really cloud our vision sometimes. So you're going to be letting go of things, letting go of the weight as depicted in this image here. You're going to let go of that and feel a lot lighter. I also get the sense that you're going to be sort of juggling two areas of your life, and you'll be doing quite well with that. So life is going to feel really busy, but in a good way, like a lot is happening. So just really living your life, engaging in all of these experiences to the fullest. And so I like that for you. And I also pulled an Osho card, Adventure, and I want to read the commentary on this one. When we are truly in a spirit of adventure, we are moving just like this child, full of trust, out of the darkness of the forest, into the rainbow of the light. We go step by step, drawn by our sense of wonder into the unknown. Adventure really has nothing to do with plans and maps and programs and organization. The page of rainbows represents a quality that can come to us anywhere. At home or in the office, in the wilderness or in the city, in a creative project or in our relationships with others. Whenever we move into the new and unknown with the trusting spirit of a child, innocent and open and vulnerable, even the smallest things of life can become the greatest adventures. Osho says, Zen says truth has nothing to do with authority. Truth has nothing to do with tradition. Truth has nothing to do with the past. Truth is a radical personal realization. You have to come to it. Knowledge is certain. The search for personal knowing is very, very hazardous. Nobody can guarantee it. If you ask me if I can guarantee anything, I say I cannot guarantee you anything. I can only guarantee danger. That much is certain. I can only guarantee you a long adventure with every possibility of going astray and never reaching the goal. But one thing is certain. The very search will help you to grow. I can guarantee only growth. Danger will be there, sacrifice will be there. You will be moving every day into the unknown, into the uncharted, and there will be no map to follow, no guide to follow. Yes, there are millions of dangers, and you can go astray, and you can get lost, but that is the only way one grows. Insecurity is the only way to grow. To face danger is the only way to grow. To accept the challenge of the unknown is the only way to grow. I think that's incredibly fitting, and it really ties everything together. So earlier with the reverse Fool, right, and how I feel like this adventure card carries a similar energy to the Chariot, where you have to acknowledge the risks, and you have to acknowledge that only danger and risk is a certainty. Everything else is uncertain, but at the very least, you know you will grow. You can be led astray by these horses of duality, but that's a risk you have to take. And even if you're led astray, you can get back onto the path as long as you have the determination, the focus, the resolution, right? The trust in yourself, the trust in life. That's really all you need. And you can try to find certainty all you want, right? With the Two of Wands, being selective about what you're looking for, constantly writing your lists of pros and cons and what you want, what you don't want. Yes, that helps to a certain extent, but eventually you have to move to the Three of Wands and welcome it. And when the universe is offering you a coin, you take that coin, right? You go after it. Notice how in the outcomes position we have the Two of Pentacles. So we went from 1 pentacle to 2. So this is you. I see that this is you juggling with life. There is still uncertainty, like when you're juggling, you can lose the ball, but you're doing it really well. You're juggling really well. You're living life. You're in the midst of it. You're in the chaos, in the movement, in all these different energies, and you're experiencing life. You're having your adventure, right? So, the Two of Pentacles sometimes is like a chaotic energy of frenzy, but I think this is good for you, and I really like this in the outcomes position because this is your adventure. You're going to be juggling things, but that means you're going to be in it, present, alive with it. I also want to bring back the wisdom of the moon card to conclude this. The fear of the unknown is valid, and it's really natural to be afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone, but know that you're stepping into the growth zone. And of course, it's going to appear scary to your ego because you've never been there. It's unpredictable because you've never been there. You don't know what's going to happen, but that's also where the joy lies, where the fun lies. You've never been there. So it's worth checking it out, right? It's worth exploring, experimenting, trying something new. So don't let your illusions hold you back. Your fears are clouding your mind, but you don't need to give in to them. The freedom you're looking for is literally right there. It's being offered to you. Now, why don't we pick 1 or 2 more oracle cards from the Moonology deck? Okay, yes, let's just end it there. Great. Prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. I think that's pretty straightforward. So look forward to your prosperity. I hope you enjoyed your reading, Group 1. Let me know how it went in the comments below. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Sending you so much love, light, healing, and clarity. And I'll talk to you very soon. Bye. If you chose Group 2, Pineapple Calcite, then this reading is for you. Alright, Group 2, so we're going to try something new today. I'm going to pick a couple of keywords from Marcel's Oracle, and we'll start off our reading with this. So Group 2, Pineapple Calcite. Group 2, Pineapple Calcite. Okay. So you have Leap of Faith, Mentor, Self-Image. Alright. So I'm already sensing that your energy is a little bit lighter than Group 1's. That Leap of Faith card feels light, it feels a little bit exhilarating and exciting. Okay, now we will go into your current energies with the Light Seers deck. Group 2, Pineapple Calcite. Pineapple Calcite, Group 2. Okay, so you have a reverse Hierophant, Six of Swords, Three of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. Let's start with these two cards. So it looks like you're healing from something, healing from heartbreak, emotional pain from relationships. And this can be any sort of relationship where it may have caused you to be let down, to be hurt by the actions of somebody else. It can be loneliness, it can be betrayal, triangulation, frustration, things that you haven't allowed yourself to express, pent up emotions. So it looks like you're healing from emotional pain at the moment, and you're allowing yourself to just be taken to calmer shores. This is the type of healing where you don't really have to go out of your way to process. You're just resting, spending time in your own energy, spending time with loved ones to restore health. And it's like being on this boat, allowing yourself to be taken through rough waters to calmer shores. And we just have to surrender to this, you know. Sometimes this is just a phase in our lives where we have to slow down, surrender, accept what is, and give space for the healing to occur internally, kind of in the background. And with the reverse Hierophant, I get the sense that you are currently in a period in your life where you're trying something new. You're not really listening to tradition or what is culturally expected of you, what is considered normal by societal standards. You're kind of putting that aside and trying things your own way. And this can be challenging normative behaviors, like maybe you always go to sleep at 9 p.m. and you wake up at 4 a.m. to meditate. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of what you learned was acceptable with your spiritual path. And now you're like, I'm going to F that for a little bit and try sleeping late because I feel like it. Or, I want to watch a lot of Netflix today, so I'm just going to go do it. It's kind of like challenging these boundaries that you've given yourself, and you're like, what if I did things differently? How would that feel? I used to be ashamed of doing things differently, but nowadays I could care less. It's kind of like that energy where I could care less. I'm just going to live my life like F what everybody else thinks or what they've told me is acceptable. Even if it's unacceptable, I'm just going to go and do it. What do I have to lose? So you're kind of in that state of mind as you allow yourself to be intuitively guided towards more healing. And there's also a moment-to-moment mindfulness, I would say, associated with everything you're doing and how you're choosing to take action. The Knight of Pentacles is a very grounded energy. He is practical and he is realistic in the sense that he only does the next thing that's available to him instead of getting lost in his mind into what is and all of that. And so what I'm picking up from this is that with everything that you're currently going through, you're just taking it from moment to moment, allowing yourself to enjoy the process rather than getting lost in possible outcomes or what used to be. You're pretty much surrendered to the moment and, really honoring each step of the process as you move forward. So it's a moment-to-moment energy, very mindful, very practical, and surrendered. Now, let's get some advice for you, or what else do we need to know about your situation? Group 2, pineapple calcite. Group 2, pineapple calcite. For advice, you have the Knight of Wands, and this makes me think of the card we got at the beginning, Leap of Faith. So you're being asked to take a leap of faith here and be spontaneous, try something new. The Knight of Wands is a really passionate, driven character. He is so fiery and pumped up. He's got so much fire and energy inside that he can't contain it. And so you're encouraged to follow that whenever you feel it. And know that you're living moment to moment right now, and that's great because that gives you the flexibility to then follow your spontaneous impulses when they arise. And this is where inspired action comes from, that leads us to our desired manifestations, because this is you following your creative energy and now allowing that to blossom into a tangible, visible manifestation out here in physical reality. So when you feel this creative impulse come through you, you have to follow it and let it lead you to the right places, people, at the right time. That way, you're taking inspired action for your manifestations to come through. You also have the Four of Cups. So I'm getting the sense that perhaps you've had invitations come to you, these new experiences knocking at your door, and you've avoided accepting them. You may have not even really seen them, and you may have not noticed these opportunities in your vicinity for the simple reason that you're currently stuck in the mindset of maybe you're afraid of stepping out there because you don't want to make the same mistakes again. You don't want to get hurt, and that's kind of making you feel a little bit bored in your current circumstances. So your sense of stuckness or boredom is a result of not really taking action when you're being called to. So follow your spontaneous impulses when they show up. I know that you might be afraid of making mistakes or doing things that you'll regret, but keep in mind that when you're spontaneous, you're not being impulsive from a sense of compulsion. When you're spontaneous, it's coming through curiosity, through excitement, passion, and childlike wonder. That's you stepping out of your comfort zone and trying something new, something that you've never done before. That will always be gratifying, that will always give you something new to chew on. Whereas, of course, if you're being impulsive, that's another story. That's acting from old habits, from an old behavioral pattern. So that's going to take you back to the past. You're going to be reliving the past. So I guess the key here is to take on new experiences, not things that are predictable, that you've done before. Don't do old things expecting new results, different results. Try new things and expect something new, right? If you're going to do the same old thing and expect new results, well, that's like, what do they say? That's a definition of insanity. So you'll know that it's a creative impulse, a spontaneous impulse, when it's something that you've never done before, when you're really getting out of your comfort zone with curiosity and childlike wonder, when it feels like play. That's you being in your element, feeling inspired, right, to manifest who you are. So go out there and get it. And also, one more thing, when you're in this mindset, you will begin to see all the cups that are being offered to you. You will begin to see opportunities, even if you thought there weren't any. And one last card, the Death card. So this seems like a transitionary period for you. You seem to be moving out of an old phase, an old way of being, and you're transitioning, having a rebirth, metamorphosis. You're transmuting energies to experience life from a different standpoint, to see things differently, to be a slightly different person moving forward. So embrace that transition. You're embracing your experience, or you're approaching life already in such a radically different way, you know? You're surrendering, allowing healing to naturally unfold. You're trying to be spontaneous now, trying to do new things and follow inspired action. You're living life moment to moment, being realistic by just enjoying the process. And you're learning to follow yourself, your own truths, instead of standards set by other people. And so know that you're already approaching life from such a different standpoint, and that calls for a death of an old self. You're shedding a layer of yourself, part of you that you no longer need. So welcome that process. Allow this metamorphosis to happen. It's going to involve grieving. Difficult emotions and thoughts will come up from time to time, and they surface because the only way to let something go is to first realize that they're there, right? You notice where you're clinging, you observe it, and then you decide, I don't need this anymore. I'm gonna let it go. So negative thoughts and emotions are arising because you no longer need them anymore. That's why they feel negative. And then when you realize you no longer need them, let them go instead of continuing to cling to those old stories and patterns. Let them go when they've surfaced so that you can welcome this death and rebirth. Okay, now let's pick a card or a couple of cards for the outcomes position. What do you need to know, group 2? Alright, so in the outcomes position, you have 8 of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, and the Emperor. So what I'm getting for you with the 8 of Cups is this is the death. This is letting go of the old. It's no longer serving you. You did all you could with this cup, and you lived this part of your life to the fullest, but now it's time to let it go because you need something more. You're looking for more from life. So you're walking away from a phase of your life. You may be walking away from certain relationships that are no longer serving you, walking away from a job, from something that's no longer emotionally fulfilling the way it used to be. And this is most definitely walking away from an old way of being. How you used to tackle life is no longer the approach that you want, so you're stepping away. So that's the death. that you're fully embracing. And by walking away from this cup, you're going to stumble upon a new offer. And it's going to come in the form of something material in this physical reality. You're going to be offered a new coin, pentacle, which represents something in the physical. Could be a new job, could be a new relationship, it could be a new house, maybe you're moving to another place in the world. It could be a sense of security and stability in your physical reality, like you have a stronger sense of, like, I can handle this, I got this, I know who I am now, and I got this, I can handle life. So sometimes it's not super tangible in the sense that it can be seen, but it could be a really strong felt sense of security in your body of, I got this, I can handle my emotions, and I can navigate things now without getting lost. So you're going to be offered something, and it's going to feel like you're stepping through a portal and energetically approaching life in a different way. And that's amazing. It's always good to see. Then you have the Emperor. The first thing that came to me when I saw this card was it's authority. You're going to feel a sense of authority, ownership, and a stronger sense of identity. Like, this is who I am, deal with it. I own myself and I take complete responsibility for that. And you don't get to tell me what to do. It's like, that kind of like really badass responsibility and ownership and authority. It's feeling fully confident in your own rights, sitting on your throne, knowing what you deserve, knowing what you want and how to get it. So it's that energy. And this makes you incredibly charismatic. It also makes you perfect leadership material. People are going to look to you for leadership. And at the beginning, we got the mentor card. And at first I thought, you may be looking for a mentor, but I think you're going to be the mentor. You're going to be the leader that people are going to look up to, because you're going to have this charisma and air about you where you're fully owning yourself. And people are going to wonder how you're doing that and how they can do that. Maybe you can teach them. So there's a sense of authority and ownership that is coming through really strongly with this card, above all the other meanings that the Emperor can have. So I really like that. It's stepping into your divine masculine energy that is about responsibility. It's about presence, clarity, reason, right? And this kind of firmness. I like to do this, but it's a sense of firmness and stillness about you that is going to be really appealing for people who need a leader they can trust. So you're going to appear really trustworthy to others. And I think that's as far as I want to go with this card. That's a beautiful energy. It's really nice. And I said divine masculine, right? And just know that I'm talking about an archetype. We all have masculine and feminine forces within us. It's just an energetic dynamic, and we all need to nurture our divine masculine. Now I'm going to pull one more card from the Osho deck, and then I'll read the commentary to you because I love the commentary that comes with this deck. The tiny figure moving on the path through this beautiful landscape is not concerned about the goal. he or she knows that the journey is the goal. The pilgrimage itself is the sacred place. Each step on the path is important in itself. When this card appears in a reading, it indicates a time of movement and change. It may be a physical movement from one place to the next, or an inner movement from one way of being to another. But whatever the case, this card promises that the going will be easy and will bring a sense of adventure and growth. There's no need to struggle or plan too much. The traveling card also reminds us to accept and embrace the new, just as when we travel to another country with a different culture and environment than the one we are accustomed to. This attitude of openness and acceptance invites new friends and experiences into our lives. And Osho says, life is always and always a continuity. There is no final destination it is going towards. Just the pilgrimage, just the journey itself is life. Not reaching to some point, no goal. Just dancing and being in pilgrimage, moving joyously without bothering about any destination. What will you do by reaching a destination? No one has asked this because everybody is trying to have some destination in life. But the implications, if you really reach the destination of life, then what? Then you will look very embarrassed. Nowhere to go, you have reached the final destination, and in the journey you have lost everything. You had to lose everything. So standing naked at the final destination, you will look all around like an idiot. What is the point? You were hurrying so hard, and you were worrying so hard, and this is the outcome. Osho is so funny. Oh, I love this so much. I love that. This is a great way to conclude everything. Actually, I'm going to pull one more card from the Moonology deck. Group 2. Okay. Ooh. A fiery climax approaches, new moon or full moon in Aries. Interesting. This makes me think of the Knight of Wands energy, feeling all that creative energy and just acting on it. So, really like that. Alright, so that is the end of your reading, Group 2. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope that you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments if it resonated, and I will see you very soon. Sending love, healing, and light, and I wish you all the best in this new phase of your journey. If you chose Group 3, Labradorite, then this reading is for you. Hello, Group 3. Today we're going to try something new. I'm going to first, it's not that big of a deal really, I'm just going to pull a couple of keywords from this oracle deck. It's the Marcel's Oracle deck, and then we'll get into tarot. Group 3. You have restlessness, inertia, and grieving. That's a really interesting image. Alright, so we'll connect the dots as we go through the reading. And Now I'm going to pull some cards for your current energies. I'm going to be using the Light Seers deck. Group 3. Current energies, Group 3, Labradorite. Labradorite. We have the Hanged Man, Page of Swords, and Ten of Wands. Let's start with the Hanged Man. So this is a card of sacrifice. This is feeling stuck in your life, not being able to move forward, and sometimes also intuitively knowing that you're not supposed to move forward just yet. It's a period of stillness that we sometimes don't really enjoy because not much is happening when we are still like this. This woman is hanging, and she does that as a sacrifice, as a way of attaining enlightenment and gaining clarity. So you might feel stuck right now. You might feel like nothing is really happening, and that can be really unnerving sometimes and frustrating. That perhaps is why you're feeling restless. But know that this period is supposed to offer you clarity. It's supposed to give you the enlightenment that you're needing in order to move forward. And before you have that kind of clarity, it really wouldn't serve you to move forward lost and confused and dazed, So use this time wisely to find the mental clarity that you need in order to move forward. You might be feeling stuck and restless, and it may be frustrating to be in this energy, but it does serve a purpose. And with the Page of Swords, I'm getting that there might be sort of an idea brewing in you that you want to actualize. So this can be like, in a simple form, it can be wanting to send a message to somebody, wanting to reach out to someone and connect with them, wanting to put something out on social media, to communicate in some sort of way. Maybe you're just kind of holding back because you don't feel quite ready, or it's not something you normally do, that sort of thing. This can be starting a blog, writing a book, putting your ideas out there to be received by others. And you're kind of just in the idea phase, and maybe that's also making you feel restless. I'm noticing books here, so maybe you are writing a book. Maybe you're journaling a lot, and they're just all of these thoughts that you want to share with somebody. So that's interesting. You also have the Ten of Wands, and this tells me that you may be carrying a lot of emotional baggage and burdens right now, and just unprocessed, pent-up energy in your system. This could be why you're feeling restless. And what I'm feeling called to say is, we go through so much in life, and we rarely give ourselves time to assess these different phases of our lives and to conclude them and make sense of them before moving forward. And there's a sense of letting go, right? Even if you're letting go of something that's been good to you, or there's a sense of we are always moving on from one thing to another. And so within that, there's a letting go. And even if you're moving from one good thing to another good thing, processing is needed in order for you to make that transition. And I feel like so many of us forget about reflecting, processing, assessing when it comes to these transitions, that it can leave us with a lot of pent-up energy in our systems. And so even if you've only experienced good in your life, you can still end up with a lot of emotional baggage and one day feel so heavy and burdened that you can't move forward anymore, right? So I think that's why we got the card grieving. We grieve not only the bad, but also the good, because life is transient. Things come and go. And even when you've only experienced good things, there's a point where you have to let it go in order to welcome the next good thing that may be better, but we still have to grieve what we're letting go of, right? So, what do you have to let go of? And this can be something that happened to you when you were 5. Maybe you moved from your childhood home to a big giant mansion. Maybe you were so excited about that. But perhaps there was also a part of you that was sad about leaving your childhood home, right? So this is just an example, but that stays with us. So you're allowed to grieve things from when you were 5. You're allowed to grieve things from yesterday. Those things stay with us, and time really doesn't heal our wounds. It's about our attention to it that heals them. So even if you have to process experiences from your childhood, from all the way back, even if they were about going from one good thing to an even better thing, recognize the transition and what you had to let go of, and perhaps what you must grieve now in order to fully process all of the things that you've had to let go of in the past, so you can alleviate some of this baggage that's currently keeping you heavy and dense and, in some sense, stuck in a period of waiting and lack of momentum. And this can be why you're feeling restless. When we have so much pent-up energy in our nervous system, that leads to anxiety, that leads to restlessness. Now, let's go into advice. Or what else do you need to hear, Group 3? Labradorite, Group 3, Labradorite. What else do you need to hear? Okay. You have the Two of Cups, King of Wands, and Page of Cups. So let's start with the Two of Cups. This is speaking of alignment. This card is asking you to find alignment within, connect to your authentic truths, reflect on your authentic truths, and act on them also. Feel them so that you can act on them. The Two of Cups is often about true love, right? When we get this card, we're like, yes, it's meant to be. And it's because this card represents a reflection of emotions where you're bringing forward your cup and somebody else is reflecting it back to you, making you feel seen and heard. And we can do this with ourselves. We can connect with our higher selves, find alignment within, and reflect on our truths, who we really are. And that makes us feel seen and heard, right? So we can develop a relationship within with ourselves. It doesn't have to begin with another person. It often starts as alignment with ourselves. And that's what brings in this person who sees us for who we are. We must first be able to see ourselves for who we are. So the advice with this card is connect to your authentic truths, connect to your higher self, find alignment within, reflect on your values, these aspects of you that make you who you are, and honor them this, you don't have to act on them just yet. This can simply be, because it's a cups card, right? So this can simply be just marinating in that energy, that energetic signature that is you. Can you marinate it in it so much that it attracts somebody who can make you feel seen and heard, who can connect with you on an incredibly authentic level? So can you marinate in it so much that it attracts true love? And true love doesn't have to be romantic. Sometimes it's platonic. Sometimes it's finding your soul family, right? You do have the King of Wands. And earlier, the Three of Pentacles almost came up. Sort of did, and then I put it back in. So what I'm sensing is you may be collaborating with somebody soon. This is more of a prediction rather than advice. But I guess the advice comes through the Three of Pentacles of be open to collaboration, to teamwork, learning from other people, receiving mentorship from others, or being the mentor yourself and sharing your own wisdom. But look for opportunities to collaborate, to share your truths, and to learn from others. And there might be a King of Wands kind of energy coming into your life. The King of Wands is somebody who is incredibly creative, passionate, driven, charismatic as a result of their, creative energy that they're not withholding. They're just letting it out. And they're expressive. So you might be meeting somebody like this who inspires you. This could be that person who makes you feel seen and heard. This could be somebody that teaches you how to do the same. This can be a friend that really gets you out of your comfort zone. So many possibilities. This could also be you. So this could be your higher self. When you connect to your authentic truths, you can discover, wait a minute, this is who I really am. I'm this charismatic, driven, creative, passionate person, and it's time for me to reveal this to the world. So this could be your higher self. But there is a sense of collaboration and teamwork. And then you have the Page of Cups. And I just heard the word trust. All pages are incredibly trusting as they start out on this journey of the suits. And with the Page of Cups, he is trusting in his emotions. He recognizes that he's kind of naive. He doesn't really know the full picture just yet. He's new to this emotions thing. But he's willing to take some risks and believe in love, believe in the goodwill of others. He's willing to believe that pigs can fly. Like, the pig is literally flying in this image. He's trying to live with his heart on his sleeve and trust in others. And sometimes we really need to be in this energy in order to invite in new relationships, new people, and new experiences. So open yourself up a little bit. Open up your heart. Try to trust in the goodwill of others. Try to trust yourself and your ability to handle emotions. And that might be the thing you need in order to step out of this phase of waiting and stuckness and find some momentum to move forward with. Okay, now let's go into outcome. The outcomes position, group 3, Labradorite. Oh, this is really interesting. So earlier, And the King of Wands came up. Now we have the Queen of Wands. But we also have the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, which is really interesting. So you could be meeting somebody who is going to be able to complement you in these two ways, with your creative, passionate side, but also your earthy, practical, realistic side. Somebody who can meet you with both aspects, which, that's awesome. That would be great. Oh, by the way, you also have the Lovers. So this could really be somebody who's coming into your life as a partner or a soul connection. Let's begin with the Queen of Wands. So I see this as you being incredibly authentic, unapologetically authentic, showing up fully as yourself, showing your cup to the world, revealing it to the world so that it can be reflected by others. And when you're in this energy, you really don't care if some people can't meet you where you are, because you know that there are others who will. So it's really unapologetic. It's like, this is me, deal with it. I really can't be anybody else but myself. So I don't care if you reject me, because I know that there are others who can accept me. And this kind of energy is incredibly charismatic and attractive. And it really complements the King of Wands. So maybe this mentor type person is going to encourage you to step into the Queen of Wands energy. You also have the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. So if the King of Pentacles is referring to a person, could be the same person as the King of Wands, but just another aspect of them. The aspect of them that is about practicality, security, abundance. And this is somebody who's really good with their finances. They have a good handle on the material aspects of life. They are great investors. They have a lot of security and stability established in the material realm. So you might meet somebody like this who can offer you their knowledge, wisdom, and expertise. This can be the same person as the King of Wands. And this can be somebody who might get into a project with you, invest in your idea, or help you out with getting your idea off the road. You also have the Queen of Pentacles. This can be you. This can also be another person who is very resourceful and connected to their resources. Somebody who feels provided for, who also feels like they can hold space for others to make them feel provided for and held. So it's a really grounded, holding space kind of energy. And this can be, again, another person who's going to help you out. There are many people in this reading. Or this can be you. Right, so earlier I said this could be your higher self, right? When I was giving you advice from tarot. So really, these could all be different aspects of you that must be kind of tapped into for you to realize your idea. Really interesting. And a little bit confusing, I'm not gonna lie. We also have the Lovers. So we can really be talking about somebody that you're going to meet and get into a relationship with who is authentically aligned to you. Your values are aligned. Your vision for life, your mission in this life are aligned. Somebody who just kind of really, meets you at your level, who carries the same wavelength. And this is somebody you can live a life of purpose with, who can kind of be your partner in crime and carry out projects with you and balance you out in various pursuits of life. So it really is like a true love kind of relationship. It's not just romantic, there are many different aspects that make up this connection. So I love that for you. And of course, this can also be you connecting so completely with your values, being in so much alignment with who you really are, that this manifests as living a life of purpose, really knowing your mission in this life and being able to carry it out, seeing who you are reflected out here in this physical reality. So it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship if that's not what you're looking for. It can just be you living a romantic life, full of love, compassion, and truth. And I also want to add that when we are in alignment with ourselves, we find that reflected out here in our relationships. So you find true love with other people when you can find true love within yourself. And so it can be both, right? That you're stepping out onto the path of alignment, and as a result, you're going to be attracting a really suitable partner and soul connections. Now I'm going to pick a card from the Osho deck to conclude our reading, and then I'm going to read the commentary to you as well, because it's always so good. Group 3. You have breakthrough. Let's see what it says here. The predominance of red in this card indicates at a glance that its subject is energy, power, and strength. The brilliant glow emanates from the solar plexus, or center of power on the card, and the posture is one of exuberance and determination. All of us occasionally reach a point when enough is enough. At such times, it seems we must do something, anything, even if it later turns out to be a mistake, to throw off the burdens and restrictions that are limiting us. If we don't, they threaten to suffocate and cripple our very life energy. If you are now feeling that enough is enough, allow yourself to take the risk of shattering the old patterns and limitations that have kept your energy from flowing. In doing so, you will be amazed at the vitality and empowerment this breakthrough can bring to your life. And Osho says, to transform breakdowns into breakthroughs is the whole function of a master. The psychotherapist simply patches you up. That is his function. He is not there to transform you. You need a meta-psychology, the psychology of the Buddhas. It is the greatest adventure in the world to go through a breakthrough. It is the greatest adventure in life to go through a breakdown consciously. It is the greatest risk because there's no guarantee that the breakdown will become a breakthrough. It does become, but these things cannot be guaranteed. Your chaos is very ancient. For many, many lives, you have been in chaos. It is thick and dense. It is almost a universe in itself. So when you go into it with your small capacity, of course there is danger. But without facing this danger, nobody has ever become integrated. Nobody has ever become an individual, indivisible. Zen or meditation is the method that will help you go through the chaos, through the dark night of the soul, balanced, disciplined, alert. The dawn is not far away, but before you can reach the dawn, the dark night has to be passed through. And as the dawn comes closer, the night will become darker. I think that's an excellent way to conclude this reading because it really ties everything together. The dawn is not far away. As you can see here, there are a lot of energies awaiting you that just so beautiful, right? Alignment is so close. Finding your purpose, your mission, finding people who will reflect your truth back to you, all of that is so close. But before the dawn comes, the night will get darker. And you really have to go through your breakdown of releasing all of these burdens, of grieving the past, of letting go of all of this pent-up energy that's creating restlessness before you can find alignment and really see yourself as you are, right? So you have an inkling right now of where to go, but that isn't enough. And before you can move forward, take your time in this suspension to find clarity, to awaken. And you awaken by grieving and letting go. You break through by breaking down first. So this part of the reading is not to be minimized. It's actually perhaps the most important part that you should be taking away from all of this. And know that there is a promise of really incredible, amazing opportunities to come. But that, just simply knowing that isn't enough, right? You got to get down and dirty and have your breakthrough by going through your breakdown. So that's the core of the message today. And I'm just going to pick one more card from the Moonology deck. The answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. Beautiful. And with that, we're going to close off this reading. Thank you so much for being here, Group 3. Thank you for spending time with me. And I hope that you found this reading helpful. Please let me know if it resonated in the comments. And I will see you very soon. Sending love, light, and healing. Bye for now.